all right. Your host, you can't make this shit up. Joel Hawksley on the right, David Washington on the left. Here we go. What was Boston Mayor Michelle Wu thinking with her electeds of color holiday party? The party was for elected officials of color. The invitation was accidentally sent to all members of the city council, including white members who were not supposed to be invited. Wu defended the party, stating that it was tradition and it is important to create space for people of color to celebrate. Some say it is divisive and that there should be one holiday party for all city officials. Others say it is important for people of color to have their own space to celebrate. Let's go. Joel.
I'm speechless. I parked the car in Harvard Yard just a long time ago, so thank God I've been out of Massachusetts for a while. But you can't beat this. You know, the Big Dig, everything else happens in Boston. Yeah. Listen, Boston is a place where you never know what's going to happen. Like the Red Sox losing for all those years and finally winning. I mean, now that they're a different city.
Go Sox.
So. Yeah, you're talking about a different Sox. No, so I have a hard time. I think it's okay to have this party, but I'm now going to kind of question who paid for it. Okay. Now, if it was paid for by government funds, then absolutely I would have a lawsuit against the mayor and the party because it excluded members of the political establishment. It was paid for by government dollars. Sure. You can't exclude anybody.
Okay.
So that's where I would be. But as far as having the party, not a problem. If the mayor wants to pay for it out of her own pocket, go for it. But she says something like you said earlier, this party's been going on for a decade. She's so excited because she's seen it, how it's grown. Well, that's wonderful. She's seen how it's grown. But for 10 years, at least, you've been excluding white people, going on television, telling everybody on television they exclude you.
Right.
That's kind of this hypocrisy. You can't make this shit up. Okay, so I don't want to see her on television telling anybody that that they're being excluded, I'm being excluded, this group's being excluded, when you literally did it at the holiday season.
Right. Right. And amazed. I have to agree with you and take it a little bit further. This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. I'm the freaking liberal in the room, okay? And we talk about inclusiveness. We talk about a one big tent party, and we talk about everyone kumbaya moments and things like that. And I understand it's been going on for approximately a decade. That's what we've learned. Okay, your own space, the divisiveness that this the impression that it gives me of divisiveness. It's the holidays also where we all are supposed to come together, and it's okay to celebrate our differences, but let's also start celebrating our uniqueness as being one nation, one city, one Boston, one Chicago, one Orlando, whatever. And this is disappointing that we are doing this in 2023. And how much more are we going to look at what differences we have that separate us from one another for the greater good?
Well, I think you said, excuse me, I think you said a very important thing there. And it's, let's celebrate our similarities.
Thank you.
The similarities of who we are, no matter if we are mentally challenged, no matter if we're black, white, Asian, let's get rid of the color. Let's get rid of the color barriers. Look, I want you to teach my children that a man is born and a woman is born, and how they're born, and how they're similar, how we are all one earth, and our differences come from the fact that we have separate traditions, and then take those traditions and say, but here's how they're similar.
Mhm.
What's similar about your religion? What's similar about my religion to yours? What's similar about your race and my race? We can all be Americans eventually
Right,
if we would just wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I love my past, but my whole goal is my future and
right.
making the future better. And I think everything, when people say we were better off in the past, no, we weren't. We're better off now because we've learned from those mistakes. And to me, you make a great point. Similarity should be celebrated, especially in the holiday season.
And okay, so this is America, and America has its issues. There's no doubt about that. Um, for me, if I was invited as an elected official to this electeds of color holiday party, I would feel uncomfortable in attending, um, because I have my peers who the seven other members who are white who were not elected, it would just feel unnatural because we're all electeds, and granted, those who were invited were electeds of color, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's all that we share in our similarities, and to reduce it to just of color bothers me. I'm more than just of color. I'm an individual who was elected to do a job and to work with other members of the council and the mayor to make the city better. And part of that means celebrating together, celebrating Boston together, and showing our accomplishments together. I'm not big on these holiday parties to begin with, but what I'm not really big on is the veil of inclusion when in fact it's divisive. We've come a long way. I'll speak about us black folks, okay? Us black people here. We've come a long way. It's not the 1880s, it's not the 1850s, it's not the 1920s or the 1950s or the 1960s. This is 2023, theoretically 2024.
Can't
And
wait.
we
Brand new year coming up.
indeed, and we are in boardrooms, we are in elected office, we are doing what we do, and we are human just like everyone else. I think we should start looking more at what we've accomplished and our similarities and how we accomplish things and how we have reached our goals as a people and as a nation, and stop focusing on the differences. Because I can tell you, with the recent Supreme Court rulings in regards to affirmative action, those things that separate us, that help advance us, and hey, I'm a child of affirmative action. Me and Justice Clarence Thomas, those days are over. And it's our individual accomplishments that matter.
Yeah, Colin Powell. I always kind of go back to Colin Powell because Colin Powell, a lot of firsts with Colin Powell, but you know, the one thing that we celebrated about his accomplishment was not the color of his skin, was the fact that he was the first ROTC cadet to ever be the Joint Chief of Staff because he didn't go to the elite Annapolis. He didn't go to West Point. I mean, this was an accomplishment that we celebrated. He was the first black, and we didn't. That was not what we were excited about. We were excited to see that somebody from ROTC, somebody who just went to college and did the course and came in a different way. And that was what we were celebrating. And a lot of people go, no, no, that's not what we celebrate. No, the media was not celebrating, but in the service, our officers, they talked about we now have a chance to go to the highest levels of the U.S. Army and, or the military altogether, because that's outside the Army. It's the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And
Right.
so, with that said, I'm not going to go with the fact that, I'm not going to go against it. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to be that person, but I'm going to be the person who says, don't spend my government money to divide people. So if this was paid for by the government, then I think the mayor needs to come up and stick out the checkbook and use use some outside funds, because the people of Boston deserve better.
And my final word here is that times are changing, and the content of our character and our accomplishments will be what should be the priority, and looking to move further in life, and work as being elected. And granted, this is America, and being, this particular sex or this particular race is interwoven into our culture. It is what it is. And so, you know I just hope for a better America to start embracing more of our accomplishments instead of the color of our skin or our gender or things like that that separate us.
Well, David, let's offer them a holiday opportunity here. Join us. Do yourself a favor and give yourself a present for the holidays, and like, share, subscribe, keep in touch with us. Your voice is welcome at all times. We don't have a call-in show right now, but if you write us, if you talk to us, we will respond, and maybe your topic will be highlighted and we'll interview you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Like, share, please comment, like Joel said. Spread the word. Let your friends, family, those electeds that those individuals who want to be an elected, let them know that you can't make this shit up. Every day, almost every day, every week. We're here for you. We're your political innovators. Thanks.